Hello fellow anime geeks, welcome to one of the 4 genres I'll be covering in my 2020 fall guide series. At this point in time, I've now watched 1/3 to caught up, depending on how much I like the anime, for each of the 26 series I tried this season. As usual, I didn't try ecchi, but this guide includes everything else. First up, let's take a look at action, fantasy, and sci-fi. If you want crazy whiplash as you switch between cutesy teenage romantic comedy and underwhelming Romeo and Juliet style fights, then Saigo no Senjou is the anime for you. This show features a little bit of everything: fan service, dating, maids, tsundere, swords, magic, big government, war, mentor figures, and expositional TED Talks given by characters that have absolutely no business telling you that information. If Saigo no Senjou was an incoherent mixture of anime tropes, King's Raid is a well-mixed solution of fantasy components. This game adaptation has a nostalgic 2000s anime vibe, and it offers multiple points of view in our orphaned protagonist and his childhood friends, and the Dark Elf Rebellion. They did a pretty good job of translating the exposition to the anime medium, but I just couldn't get into the cheesy and predictable game plotline. Noblesse benefits from the irresistible, overpowered character fights, and the fact that I'm not really watching anything else on Wednesdays, because the first act is just this hip-hugger piece of fan service being forced to confront the same moral dilemma every time he sees a vampire, while the second half is about how these beautiful and interesting people all want to be with this apathetic gap moe who is the embodiment of noblesse oblige. And we even end the whole thing with a visit to the Volturi. The Raskreya. Sigrdrifa hit me with an unexpected dose of Norse mythology and an equally unexpected fun action doomsday plotline. This is a reimagining of the Ragnarok story where our protagonists, the Valkyries, fight the catastrophic events leading up to the final battle for the world, Ragnarok. If episode 5 hadn't traded the cool action for some of the most lewd fan service I've ever seen in an anime, I would probably still be watching this one. Yakuma No Inochi confused all of us who are unfamiliar with the Japanese counting system by spelling out 1 million as 100 man, or 110,000s. Shout out to Rising Sun Reviews for our discussion on this topic. Apart from the title, the genre is also confusing. Yakuma no Inochi is an interesting action sci-fi disguised as just another isekai. And these first 12 episodes ask the uncomfortable question, what if the protagonist in a cliché sci-fi plotline didn't have the type of moral foundation we admire in a shonen manga protagonist? FYI, season 2 is already scheduled for summer 2021. Let's move on to what starts as a fun action sci-fi thriller with heists and chase sequences, but ends up a full-out horrific dystopia that forces us to look at ourselves and arrive at some uncomfortable conclusions. Akudama Drive comments on mob mentality, military government, and criminal assignation. Number 1 in action and fantasy, Jujutsu Kaisen combines the epic scale and world building of a big shonen jump adaptation with the dark mood, brutality, and grotesque baddies of a supernatural horror anime. Plus, cool fights. My only critique is that I don't understand the magic system yet. There's landscapes, regeneration, and different kinds of distortions, but I'm happily awaiting more explanation, and I'm relieved that this is a 24-episode anime that continues into winter 2021. And with that, we've covered 7 of the 26 new anime series this season. Links to all of my first impressions and information on this anime in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next video in this guide series, which will cover fan service anime and mixed media projects.